And so, just to give you one statistic, the last time that a majority of young men voted Republican in a presidential campaign was back in the late 80s, George Herbert Walker Bush. So this time, the data are pretty clear that a majority, we find at PRI, we did a post-election poll, 56% of young men voted for Donald Trump. It's the direct opposite when it comes to young women voting for people, right? And so why is Trump, for example, their GOP making some inroads, right? There seems to be this, is there a vibe shift that we're becoming far more conservative? And so certainly, I think there's been a proliferation of podcasts that are more right-leaning, that have really pulled a lot of young men into the algorithms are sending them to watching Andrew Tate or watching Barstool Sports or watching Joe Rogan, all of that. Although I would argue he's probably more libertarian-leaning. But there does seem to be, I think, more allowance for young conservative men, especially young conservative white men, to be more vocal about their politics. But I'm not convinced that this means, for example, that young men are going to become far more Republican. In fact, our data at PRI, we look at this longitudinally, we're not finding any evidence that young men necessarily becoming more Republican or conservative. Maybe some young white men identifying more as